Okay, I'm going to move into the regular council land use. Looking at item number 1, please.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On the Surrey Heritage Revitalization Agreement, move first.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Public hearing be set for Monday, March 23rd.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 2.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 3.
Planning recommendations on 3.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. South Surrey, number 4.
Planning recommendations on 4.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Planning recommendations on 5.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 6.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 7.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 8.
Move planning recommendations on 8.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
9 is a denial member.
9 is denial. 9 is a denial, so I will ask the applicant. Is the applicant here to speak to this? Can you
Hello, Madam.
briefly respond to the denial?
We purchased our property in September of 2014, and we didn't realize
Can you get the mic a little closer so we can hear you?
Sorry.
Thank you.
We purchased the property in September 2014, and we didn't realize there was a restrictive height covenant on there. And we've since applied to have it amended or removed. We have support from our neighbors. We have one neighbor who opposes, and we can show you that there's only minimal impact to this one neighbor. Back in 2001, when this property was subdivided, that's when they put the height restriction on there. And at that time, the property already had an existing house on there, which was over 30 years old. So when they placed the height restriction, it was for 20 years, and they didn't really take into consideration that the house was over 30 years old and that it would probably not last or it would pass its useful life before the 20 years was up. Can I give some figures to show on the big screen? Is that okay?
Move to receive.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. It's just a map.
So the opposing neighbor, he lives at 16488, and as you can see, this figure was done by Mike Tynan Design. It was an unbiased opinion. We didn't retain him. We didn't pay him any money. It was just his unbiased opinion that this neighbor is not affected by our property, which is located at 16475 78th Avenue. So as you can see, this property owner who opposes our development, his field of view overlooks 7 other properties, but ours is not part of his view. And we can further substantiate that in some additional photos, if I could pass those along.
Sure, those 2.
So as you can see, it's that house with the side windows overlooking our backyard. The only impact we could potentially have is on his daylight windows, but those daylight windows overlook our backyard, and our backyard is going to remain unchanged. In fact, we're moving our house forward to give ourselves a bigger backyard. So those daylight windows should not be impacted, and that's the only neighbor of any significance who opposes our application. The restrictive covenant was placed back in 2001 to protect the character of this neighborhood. But since 2001, even just in the last 5 years, there's been over 20 developments of single-family homes, all built to RF zoning within 100 meters of our house and this neighbor's house as well. This neighbor, he was opposed to the 2001 application, and his main concern was his view corridor. So what should have probably been done in 2001 is that height restrictions should have been placed on the new lot that was parceled from our property, which does impact his view corridor. So our application isn't for that adjacent lot, it's just for our property, which is not part of his field of view. And I think that's about it. Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
Councillor Gill?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to confirm that the restrictive covenant would expire in 6 more years?
It was registered, I believe, in 2001, and it spans for 20 years, so it's 2021.
2021. And at that time, just planning to confirm if, in fact, that they were to build a home in 2021, in fact, they would be able to permit to be build the home at the RF zone bylaw. In terms of the restrictive covenant that was put on at the time of subdivision, was it anticipated that the useful life would have a useful life that was consistent with the age of the restrictive covenant?
I don't think it took into consideration the house was over 30 years old, and our house now,
That question is to
That
staff.
just through to the, that's through to staff, please.
sorry.
That consideration was the direction from council at that time.
Okay. Okay. Councillor Martin? No.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just through staff, how old is the property now? How old is the house? Does anybody know? Or maybe the delegation knows.
It's 48 years old.
48 years old, and it doesn't really fit within that community anymore.
No, I can show you pictures of our surrounding houses if you like.
Thank you.
Councillor Villeneuve?
I just want to clarify, I know that I met with you, but that your height that you're proposing to build the house is not going to be any higher than the other houses that have been built in the neighborhood in the last 5 to 10 years. Is that correct?
They were all built to comply with the RF zoning, and that's what we're
And that's
applying.
what you're asking for. Okay, thank you.
Okay. What is the wish of council? Oh, Councillor Gill?
I think, Madam Mayor, I think Councillor Martin wanted to speak first.
I was just going to move a motion that we move this back to staff to maybe remove the covenant that's on there from 2002, if that's possible.
Is that an appropriate motion, Mr. Planner? Okay.
Madam Mayor, I can second that motion.
Second, the removal of the covenant. All those in favour? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Council, Madam.
Is there any public process that's required to be for us to be able to do this, Madam Clerk?
Is it public process?
No.
Thank you.
South Surrey, number
Move the
10, please.
recommendation on number 10.
Second. Childcare center.
So the addition of a playground, thank you. All those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Bylaw?
On the Heritage Revitalization Agreement on 10, move first.
Second. Second. All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
Public hearing be set for Monday, March 23rd.
Second.
All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 11.
Second.
All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 12.
Second.
All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 13.
Second.
All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
On 14, move planning recommendations.
Second.
All those in favour? Opposed? Carried.
On zoning.
Councillor LaFranc, I have you on the speaker.
Well, I'd be delighted, but I didn't have myself down. On 14, are we able to retain those 4 trees? The staff? Sorry, am I on the right one?
We're on 14.
14.
On the 60th Avenue, the number 14?
Madam Mayor, regarding the 4 trees, we are trying our best, but at this time we do not include it in the table, but in the more detailed planning in terms of the surfacing corridor and the lot grading, we will do our best to try to save those 4 trees.
Great, thank you.
On 14, on the zoning, move first.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Public hearing be set for Monday, March 23rd.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On
15.
move planning recommendations.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On item
C1.
referred back, move planning recommendations on C1.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On the zoning, move to be filed, is it?
Second. File the zoning. Yes. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On the second zoning, move first.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move second.
Second.
Councillor Woods? You're on the speakers list here. Did you want to speak?
No, I never pushed that, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't push it.
So on the zoning, on move second.
On second? Yes. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move public hearing set for Monday, March 23rd.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On number 2, move planning recommendations.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried. Councillor Gill?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just in terms of questions to staff, I know that the lots that are fronting 26th Avenue, where is the driveway on those lots? Is the access could be at the back rear, or is it being proposed at the front?
Madam Mayor and Councillor Gill, the access for the lots fronting onto 26th Avenue will be from the lane for lot 31 and 30, and then for 33, the access will be from 164A Street, which is on the in the front here. And then in terms of the 2 lots that is facing 26 on the west side, they will be accessed through the lane here behind the lots.
In terms of just setting a precedence, in terms of just, I believe it's further east to the site, I know there's an application, will those lots also be having a requirement to be serviced from the rear as well, or would they be serviced from the front?
Madam Mayor, if you look at the lane, the proposal is to have the lane extend eastward. In terms of the compliance with the NCP actually stipulates that the no driveway access to 26th Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Lai. I know you worked very hard on this particular application. I appreciate all the good work that you did there.
On the zoning, move first, Madam Mayor.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Public hearing be set for Monday, March 23rd.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed,
For
carried.
the second zoning, move first.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Public hearing be set for Monday, March 23rd.
All those in favor, opposed, carried. Number 2.
Madam Mayor, I'm going to move recommendations for discussion purposes.
Number 3.
Number 3? Oh, number 3?
Yeah. The 316 the townhouse.
Yes. Okay, do I have a seconder for discussion?
I'll second for discussion.
Thank you. Councillor Hain.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This one, as I think Council will remember very clearly from just a few weeks ago, we sent back to staff because of the confusion with, or not confusion, but certainly because of the issue of ingress and egress through the adjacent townhome complexes to the west and to the north of the subject property. And with a view that there was going to be consultation with the existing strata councils at those other two locations. I don't think there's any question that certainly the intent when those first 2 developments were built, that there would be shared access, and it said so on the deeds of those those townhouses. However, I don't think that those, certainly Azure, the folks in Azure and Abbey Lane really fully grasp perhaps what that would look like. And I don't think that from emails I've received and from looking at this, I don't think there's been very much, if any, consultation with those groups since that time. And so I'm not comfortable moving this forward today and supporting this. And I would like to see this sent back to staff for some consultation. I'm not offering up any solutions, Madam Mayor. I know there's issues with turning onto arterial roads and so on, but I think there needs to be consultation. I think there needs to be more consultation done on this file before I can support it. Okay. So I'm moving it referral back to staff.
You're moving referral. Now, Councillor Gill, did you want to speak to the referral motion, or are you going to? Do I have a seconder? Or are you going to speak to it first?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to make a couple of comments, if I could.
Okay.
In terms of this particular application, I had a lot of difficulty because really the essence of council generally is to establish land use, and in fact the irony in this particular application is in fact that the land use being proposed is pretty consistent with the land use to both the north, to the south and to the east, I believe it is. That being said, again, when you're looking at tree preservation, I know that this particular application did better than the applications, or at least the adjacent applications that were approved previously in 2006. And I did get a chance to ask planning this morning to pull out an application from 2006. It clearly articulated in that particular report that any future subdivision as it relates to the subject property would in fact be using a shared access. And again, case in point in terms of those applications having restrictive covenants registered on title. So as I understand, when one would purchase a townhouse, that the restrictive covenant would articulate that there is a shared access point there that would come in the future. So in terms of legalities, I think that we've hit those issues, but certainly the issue in the tuffle that I call it is really with engineering and the adjacent landowners. In fact, I understand that the developer is wanting to be able to work with either the city or their area residents to be able to accommodate access off either 24th Avenue or 164th. In fact, he's just wanting to move forward with his application just given the density. So that being said, I'm going to support the referral back to staff. I do appreciate that 24th and 164th are both arterial roads, and it's been clearly articulated in reports from the past. But certainly I think that the community needs to be engaged, and I think the community possibly needs to be educated in terms of what engineering is trying to attempt in terms of 24th Avenue and 164. So I will be supporting the referral, but certainly I'm not sure if there is any other options other than what's being presented and proposed by the applicant.
Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and many of the thoughts that I was going to say also is with Councillor Hayne and Councillor Gill. I will support it going back at this time. We need more community consultation on this one, and we really need to get the strata councils on board and to find a way of not having cars going in and out of those two properties. So I would appreciate, I didn't see any changes from the last time we met, so I'm not going to support it at this time.
Great, now I have a motion without a seconder.
I second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor of referral back to deal with the collaboration with the community? Okay. All those opposed? That is carried. Number D.
Under corporate reports, addendum agenda 1, corporate report L001, move acquisition of property at 7736 156th
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. L2.
Move acquisition of property at 6075 6085 144th Street.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Bylaw 1.
Move final adoption on number 1.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 2.
Resolution on South Newton.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final adoption on 2.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final on 3.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On 4, on the OCP, move final.
Second. All those in favor, opposed,
On
carried.
the zoning, move final.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On 5, move final.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Development permit.
Move 6A.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried. I needed a resolution to pass that development permit on 5.
Yep, so moved.
Second. Okay, all those in favor, opposed, carried.
And
And
permit on number 6.
seconder.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
And the mayor-
Mayor, on addendum agenda number 1, we're H7, move final adoption.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On 8, move that we pass a resolution amending the neighborhood concept plan to redesignate the site from Townhouse 15 EPA to Townhouse 25 EPA.
Second. And introduce the new bit lane. All
Second.
those in favor, opposed, carried.
Final adoption on 8.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
And on the development variance permit, move permit approval.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Second development permit, 144.
I'll move the recommendation.
All those in favor? Oh, we already had that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Move 9.
Move final adoption on 9.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
On
And final on 10.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move the development variance permit.
second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move final
Permit
adoption on
approve
11.
it.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move permit approval on 11.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
And on addendum agenda 2, move 12, H12. Move that we rescind resolution.
Resolution 13-2282.
Yep.
Seconder? Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move amendment to bylaw 18090 to section 2.8 to refer to blocks A, B, C as shown in the survey plan.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move third reading as amended.
Second. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Housekeeping amendments to in-stream application bylaws or amendment bylaws.
Move I.
Filing.
Yeah.
1 to 10.
Filings of plans 1 to 10.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Move adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.